So we also have the biconditional operation. So if we have propositions P and Q, the proposition if and only if. So we have P if and only if Q is called a biconditional operation. It's denoted by this double arrow. So P if and only if Q is true when P and Q have the same truth value, and is false when P and Q have different truth values. So here's the truth table. If they're both true, P and Q are both true, the biconditional is true. If P and Q are both false, the biconditional is also true. However, if one of them is true and one of them is false, you get a false statement. In English, we can use the P if and only if Q. We can also say that P is necessary and sufficient for Q. We can say if P, then Q, and conversely. And we can also use this symbol IFF. So this is an abbreviation for if and only if. As far as order of operations go, conditionals and biconditionals can be combined with these other logical operations. If parentheses are not used explicitly in the order which the operation should be applied, then our and or negation should always be applied before either the conditional or biconditional. So, this proposition, if P, then Q and R, should be evaluated with parentheses around the Q and R. So you should evaluate Q and R, and then do the P to this compound proposition. It's good practice to use parentheses so the order of operations is always clear. So let's actually evaluate this. So the first step would be to evaluate the parentheses, the Q and R. So for this one, we need both Q and R to be true. So this is how we can fill in our truth table. We have P and Q to be, or Q and R true, gives us Q and R is true. If either one of them is false, we get a false. For the if P, then Q and R, we're now going to compare our P columns in this Q and R. And this will be true as long as P is not true and Q is not false. So as long as we don't have true to false, we'll be fine. And we can fill this in. The first row will be true to true, which gives us true. Second row has a true to false. This is a false. The third and fourth rows are also true to false. Rows 5 through 8, the P value is false. And as long as the P value is false, the hypothesis is false, it doesn't matter what the conclusion is because our conditional will be true. Now let's look at it if the parentheses are reversed. So if we evaluate if P then Q, and then do the and R. So we'll start by if P, then Q. We see the first one is true to true. The second one is true to true. The third row is true to false, which gives us a false statement. The fourth row, also true to false. And then rows 5 through 8, our hypothesis is false, so it doesn't matter what the conclusion is, the conditional is true. Next we'll look at and R. So we'll need both R and if P then Q to be true. And this is what we get. We get a true in the first row, the fifth row, and the seventh row.